Welcome to Brainiac, the show that takes science, strips it down and gives it a damn good oiling.
The big science on Brainiac tonight. Can you really smell fear? We put more things we shouldn't inside a microwave oven. We make snooker interesting with the help of Quintin Han, 6 caravans and some propane gas. Can testosterone make a wimp well-armed? Brainiac rookie Charlotte Hudson fires science at you from both barrels. And our Brainiac babes are back, offering you another chance to vote and win a starring role on the show. But first, some fun with electricity. Take one very large deserted warehouse. Introduce some low-amp 9-volt electrical equipment, one Brainiac, and you have yourself an experiment. The current that these electrode pads will carry produce electrical impulses to stimulate specific muscle groups. We're trying to establish what things you can't do whilst being electrocuted. We've already worked out that you can't shave whilst a current is being passed through your arms. And that it's impossible to be a posh wine waiter and pour drinks whilst feeling the effects of the electrical current.
Sorry.
This week we're experimenting to see if it's possible to drink a pint of beer out of a soft plastic cup whilst being electrocuted. And already it's looking doubtful. Our Brainiac is sick and tired of being used and abused, so he's having a quiet beer while searching the paper for another job. Because of his slimline physique, when the electrode pads pass electricity into his body, the current seems to reach all the way to his hand, causing it to close rather rapidly. Now the idea is to get the beer into his mouth, but due to the strength of the electrical impulses, into his face is about all he can manage. Electricity travels at around 186,000 miles per second, and our Brainiac thinks he can beat it. He can't. Drinking beer from a plastic cup, one more thing you can't do whilst being electrocuted.
Things that make you go,
Here's one for you. What would happen to the level of the oceans if all the boats in the world were taken out of the water at the same time?
Things that make you go,
Can you smell fear? I mean, literally, smell it. Well, scientists reckon you can, and we're here to put that to the test. Thing is, though, what can we find around here to scare the living daylights out of someone? Yes. 100-foot crane. That should do it. Now, I'm blindfolding this Brainiac because she's going to be doing the smelling for us. She's going to have 3 bodies put in front of her. These 3. But before we do that, this Brainiac is going to have a nice relaxing time because he's going to sit in this deck chair for half an hour. Well, go on then, sit. This Brainiac is going off on a long run. Well, go on, run. See you in 30 minutes. And this Brainiac, we're going to scare witless because we happen to know he's terrified of heights. Note the big, disposable paper trousers. Go on then, in the crane. Go on. Don't worry. You won't fall off. Probably.
In half an hour, at least 2 of them will probably be rather sweaty. But can our Brainiac detect that secret other ingredient in amongst the BO? The smell of naked fear. This other ingredient is known as a pheromone, a chemical message which is relayed between animals of the same species. Pheromones are used to attract members of the opposite sex, to mark trails and territory, and as warnings. The fear pheromone is believed to be one of the strongest.
What he needs is a little encouragement, I think, just to, bolster him through a scary experience.
Why don't you look down here, see how small we are? Look, we're like ants. Yeah, you're about maybe halfway there.
Actually, I think I can smell the fear from here.
Just imagine falling with the ground rushing up to meet you.
looking down,
This might seem cruel, but remember, this is science, and it's important that he is truly scared for it to work.
Can I come down, please?
Oh, he's making noises again.
Animals and insects can detect fear in members of their own species, and certain animals like dogs and giraffes can smell fear in people as well. Now they reckon that we can also smell it in each other, and it's an ability that's stronger in women than in men.
Right, time to check up on relaxing, Brainiac. I don't want to overstress him. You okay? I'm very... Not too much energy, okay? Don't work too hard.
Go on, pick your feet up!
Sorry, I didn't mean to stress you there. You just take it easy.
Okay, scared of heights, Brainiac. I want you just to edge towards the edge. That's it, little closer. That's nice. And you can see us all the way down here.
No way! Worried we might actually scare him to death.
Now, could you just take your left hand off? That's it. Good work. Now, your right hand. Come on. Come on. Take your right hand off the rail. This is science. Take your hand off the rail. Okay, you can put them back on the rail now.
I think that'll probably do it for him. So,
You, stop running. Stop. You bring that one down from up there.
what's left of him. And you, I don't know, stop relaxing. Stand up. That's probably do it. The question is, can our smelling Brainiac detect which one was the scared one by scent alone? 3 to choose from. Here comes number 1.
He's a Brainiac, so he's sure to smell bad. But what else is there?
That's number 1. We're moving along to number 2. Remember, we're looking for the smell of fear. Here's Brainiac number 2.
Will she spot the sweaty terror?
Well, finally, Brainiac number 3.
Lovely B.O.
Okay, if you fix those in your mind, we'll walk back along the line. You're passing number 2. Silence. Brainiac number 1. Tell us, on which one did you smell of fear?
I think it's number 2.
You're going for number 2.
Yep, number
which,
2.
funnily enough, is pretty much what he did in the crane. Because, yes, that was our scared Brainiac, and that proves it works. You can smell fear.
Hi, I'm Frank Ritore and you're watching Brainiac.
On the last series of Brainiac, using science, we set about the task of turning caravans into an endangered species. This 1970s monstrosity was doused in petrol and the fumes ignited by static electricity created from some nasty dance moves by a cagoule-wearing Brainiac. This vile beast fell victim to Dr. Bunhead and his homemade, highly flammable and extremely volatile liquid oxygen. It's the stuff they use for launching rockets into space. But the best way to destroy a caravan using science? Fill it with some flammable gas, add a splash of oxygen and stand well back. We here at Brainiac thought it would be a good idea to see what kind of damage other gases could do to the lowly caravan. So we decided to combine our love of blowing them up with our love of sport.
Snooker, a game played by two people in serene and gentlemanly surroundings. Unless your name is Quintin Han and you're playing snooker against a Brainiac.
Of this special Brainiac match where we're heading for an explosive finish as Quintin Han closes in on a 147 maximum. Our Brainiac is very frustrated. He hasn't had a chance to play a shot in this deciding frame. Of course, as with all Brainiac snooker matches, there's the science to contend with as well. All 6 pockets are wired to a fuse, 1 pocket per caravan. Each caravan is filled with a different type of gas or explosive. Quintin's now on the yellow. If he pots it, we'll see a propane explosion, or C3H8 as the scientific community like to call it. There, he's potted it nicely and lit the fuse.
122.
Our Brainiac finally gets a chance to get out of his seat, but not to come back to the table. The yellow went in the top left pocket, so keep your eye on the top left caravan. Only a matter of seconds now before the explosion. There it is. As we look at the super slow-mo replay, you can see a nice rich flame blowing out the side of the caravan. The propane flame is often described as luminous. It's also provided a smoke ring from the air vent on the roof. Propane is obviously flammable, but it's also colourless and can be easily liquefied, which makes it an ideal fuel for portable stoves. These replays are from a high-speed camera that can shoot at 1,000 frames per second. To give you an idea of how fast that is, normal television pictures are only shot at 25 frames per second. The high-speed shots give us the ability to see exactly what happens to our caravans and savour every moment of their destruction.
Harry Smedley, bouncer, all-round hard man. Sometimes he punches people just for the fun of it. Simon Twigg, weed, never had a girlfriend, probably never will. So can we turn this man into this one in just 2 hours using testosterone? You know, testosterone, the juice that makes a man a man.
Roll up your sleeves, please.
Before we start, a blood test reveals our weedy man has a testosterone level of 198.
Okay, if you just put your finger on there for me, thank you.
While our bruiser comes in with a good strong 964.
Much. Just feel a little prick.
So, can we turn the tables with a few hours of intensive Brainiac therapy?
Head off that way.
This half of the lab is now officially the man booster side. First, we give our weed some new clothes, leathers and studs. He's bound to feel a bit harder once he's got this lot on. Meanwhile, over in the ladyboy half, some new gear for our bruiser as well. And a spot of preschool telly to start him off.
Watch that.
We reckon his testosterone levels sapping away already. A rather more enjoyable striptease performance will be our weedy man's first medicine. All men have testosterone, but some more than others. It's the hormone you need to make muscle, sperm, and bits of you grow. We reckon that's already happening to our weedy man. Merely thinking about sex is thought to up the levels of testosterone in the body, and he's certainly thinking hard about it right now. Scientists say that decreased levels of the hormone can lead to depression and irritability in a man. It's not been long, but already our bruiser man is certainly looking a little sadder. We'll leave them both to it and join them later in the show to see how they shape up. This object has been magnified 400 times. Where it comes from and how it gets where it gets is a bit of a mystery. Some people have even been known to collect it. What do you think it is? Find out after the break. Still to come, what happens when you put a toothpick in a microwave? We blow more stuff up, only this time it's bubblegum. And status quo put the rock and roll into forced oscillation resonance.
This is Brainiac, where we bundle science into a weighted sack and lob it in the canal.
Still to come, can testosterone turn a bruiser into a baby and a softie into a psycho? Batten down the hatches, Dr. Bunhead is back. And Brainiac goes interactive with Explosive of the Week. But first... Earlier, we showed you this. It's been magnified 400 times. It can be found in a number of places, but most commonly in either your belly button or between your bottom cheeks. Yep, it's 100% pure bum fluff.
Stop! The following experiment is dangerous for your safety and the protection of those around you. Do not try this at home. No, really, don't.
For something so small and simple, this toothpick can provide a spectacular light show. Scientifically speaking, no one is exactly sure what happens, but there are theories. The flame you see is thought to be plasma, the fourth state. When continuously heated, a solid turns to liquid, which then turns to a gas. And if you heat that gas, you get plasma, the fourth state of matter. As the toothpick burns down, the carbon vapor produced is excited by the microwaves and becomes ionized. The small balls of fire you see are thought to be very similar to the rare and little understood natural occurrence of ball lightning, or as it's sometimes called, St. Elmo's fire.
We do these experiments so you don't have to. Do not try this at home.
Chocolate! My favourite! A tasty snack packed full of energy. I wonder how much. Some potassium perchlorate to release the energy. Drop it in. Yikes! So that's what 50 calories looks like. Whoa! Whoa! No wonder I'm hyperactive.
Do you weigh a quarter of a pound more after eating a quarter pounder?
Brainiac, scales, quarter pounder. First, weigh the burger. It's called a quarter pounder because that's what it weighs before the meat is cooked. So first we need to get it back up to the full 4 ounces. A squirt or two of ketchup should do it. Now, let's weigh our Brainiac.
That's a pre-burger reading of 124 pounds and 8 ounces.
Time for her to put on a few ounces, 4 to be exact. Tasty early morning snack. Every little bit now. Now the second weigh-in. 1 Brainiac, 124 pounds, 8 ounces, plus 1 quarter pounder, 4 ounces, should equal 124 pounds, 12 ounces. So does it?
The post-burger reading is 124 pounds, 11 ounces.
No, it doesn't. Seems like our Brainiac was so hungry, she burned up an ounce as soon as it hit her stomach. Answer, you don't weigh a quarter of a pound more after eating a quarter pounder. Bye-bye, Brainiac. You can get rid of that burger now.
We've all heard the one about an opera singer shattering a wine glass with a singing voice. But is it a load of old rubbish, or can it really be done?
First, the exact note that the glass resonates at must be established. Our opera singer is using a pitch pipe.
G sharp.
Now our singer must sing the very same note and sustain it if there's any chance of the glass breaking. Rubbish! That was pants!
Now, is our theory wrong, or do we need something a little louder and perhaps a bit more Brainiac?
It only takes one note to shatter a glass, so Brainiac approached a band who've become rock gods using just 3. Let's see if legendary rockers status quo still have an appetite for rock and roll destruction. Over the last 4 decades, they've burst the eardrums of band members and fans alike. Today, they're still loud enough to blow their amplifiers. But what about our wine glass? Now that's what I call rock and roll. Bring on the glass. After a quick explanation of the scientific principles involved, the Quo use their classical training to find the correct frequency of our glass. And having discarded E and A, they also settle for the note G sharp. So here we go then. Can they do it? So there we have it. Proof beyond doubt that if it's loud enough, played at the right frequency and sustained for long enough, you can break a glass using music. Rock music anyway. Things John Tickle's body can't do.
Come in. Hello, Mr. Tickle. Would you stand over there, please? Now, Mr. Tickle, would you put your arm out to one side and put your palm flat on your shoulder?
Men generally can't do this as their muscle tension restricts the movement of their joints. However, women's joints are more flexible, so many women can actually do it. John Tickle, however, is no girly.
I'm sorry, nurse, I can't do that.
Thank you, Mr. Tickle. Goodbye.
One more thing John Tickle's body can't do. Every day in the Brainiac lab, our email inbox is flooded with suggestions for experiments from the great British public. The mad, the bad, and the downright stupid. Our dedicated research team go through each and every one of these suggestions and thoroughly assess them for their scientific value. Just a very few ideas actually go forward for testing. And if your idea is picked, be sure the Brainiac team will track you down.
I can do science, me.
If you've written into Brainiac, we will find you. This week we're in Rochester, grabbing Doncaster Rovers supporter Maria Gomez. If you've got an experiment you want to do, then send us an email and we'll drag you down as well. Our address is info@brainiac.co.uk.
And if we do choose your experiment, this is where you'll come to get it done. Under the enthusiastic eyes of Charlotte Hudson.
Today it's Maria Gomez. Dear Brainiac, I want to know how many pieces of bubble gum you can get in your mouth and still be able to blow a bubble. The level of scientific endeavour of Brainiac viewers never ceases to amaze me. I always wanted to try this when I was a kid and was never allowed. Now I feel too stupid to do it as a grown-up. Will you do it for me? No, Maria, do it yourself.
The adult human mouth has a surprisingly large capacity. Able to hold 125 millilitres of liquid or 100 grams of bubblegum, this experiment is less a question of volume and more one of her jaw's ability to match. How many pieces can she keep in her mouth and still blow bubbles? Hamsters tend to store food in their cheeks. Maybe it's the way forward. The largest bubble ever produced was almost 2 foot wide. There's little danger of Maria Gomez threatening that record. It's believed to be the first time this experiment has been done under laboratory conditions. Yet again, Brainiac is pushing forward the boundaries of scientific understanding. This is our legacy to world knowledge.
So, 22 pieces of gum, but it's getting tough. How much more can she take?
More gum, please.
For God's sake, do not do this at home. It's a surefire way to choke to death. Fortunately, we have a well-trained team who can step in at the very hint of danger. Everything aches now. Her tongue has never seen such concentrated action. Her teeth work furiously. Her mandibles throb with the exertion. 31 pieces of gum, and she's still blowing. 32 is obviously a struggle. 33 takes all her strength. Then she manages to ease out and burst number 34. Can she make 35? No, she can't.
Her name is Maria Gomez. She wanted to know how many pieces of bubble gum you could get in your mouth while still being able to blow bubbles. The answer, 34.
I can do science, me.
I am a scientist.
Do you like it when I...
All men want it, but how do we get it? Yes, testosterone.
Loving you well.
Down at the lab, we're trying to up the levels in this man and decrease it in this one in a 2-hour Brainiac session. Over in the boosting side, our weedy man really seems to have enjoyed the stripper we laid on. While over on the other side, our bruiser man is continuing his treatment and having just as much fun. High levels of testosterone leads to improved muscle definition as well as driving libido and increased sexual sensation. It can also be related to sporting ability.
Come on, Weedy. You can do it.
Cheating athletes who take steroids make their body produce more testosterone, which improves their performance. However, levels in men usually begin to decline around the age of 23, which can lead to memory loss and mild mental confusion in middle age. We hope to temporarily accelerate the process with a bit of knitting and some greatest hits from Enya. We'll leave them to it for a bit. When we come back, we'll be testing to see whether we've managed to make a difference to our 2 guinea pigs.
Dear John, I've seen adverts for stick-on patches that are supposed to increase your mobile phone signal. I'd like to know if they really work and if there's any other way that you can jack up the reception of your phone without spending a fortune on newfangled technology. Love the show, keep up the good work. Craig from Sunderland. I like the way you're thinking, Craig. Bit of tin foil might be handy. There we go. Cake tin. We've also got some coat hangers here. They seem like a good idea. If you're really desperate, you can always use some of this. Some standard TV aerial. Now, first things first. If we're going to be mucking around with our mobile phone's aerial, we need to know what wavelength we're talking about. Luckily, we have a nice, easy scientific formula to use. Lambda, the wavelength of the signal, equals the speed of light divided by the frequency of the signal. Now, we know that the speed of light is always a constant. It's 300 million metres per second. Now, the frequency of your signal depends on the mobile phone network that you're talking about. We're going to use 1800 megahertz. And we come up with a wavelength of 0.167 metres, or 16.7 centimetres. Most mobile phone aerials are a quarter of the wavelength, so that gives us approximately 4.175 centimetres for the length of our additional aerial. First of all, we're going to use some of the materials here to make a ground plane aerial, like you get in most cars. Now, accuracy is very important, so I'm going to measure out here 4.175 centimetres and cut accordingly. Oh.
Hey baby, I'm your telephone and you just show me where you want it and I'll put
Yes, that's going to be a tougher job than I first thought. One dirty grey hole. I'm going to use this small length of TV aerial cable to connect this setup to the back of my mobile phone. Think of the biscuit tin lid like the roof of your car and this short piece of wire as the aerial. So I'm going to stick the aerial into our blue tack and then attach the outside copper wiring to the biscuit tin lid with some sticky tape. And there we have our aerial and ground plane. The other thing you can try is just unrolling a big sheet of aluminium foil and holding your mobile phone next to it. Now, all of these things should work in theory, but now it's time to put them all to the practical test. Now, don't ask me how I know this, but the only place in this house with poor reception is down here. At the moment, we've got 3 bars. First of all, I'm going to try common or garden kitchen tin foil. Hopefully with all this around me, we ought to get some kind of result. And actually, do you know? it's working rather well. I can't move it anywhere that I can't get 4 bars. Well, that's fantastic news, but unfortunately it means that you have to carry 5 metres of tin foil around with you everywhere. So, next up, I'm going to try our trusty ground plane aerial. First, we need to put the ground plane in an elevated position. Now, you put the middle bit of the coaxial cable into the aerial hole, and then the ground plane is twisted around this bit of wire. Now, like the other phone, this one never gets a full signal down here, so if it does, we'll consider this a success. And I don't believe it, it's actually working. That's phenomenal. Great stuff. Oh, I didn't expect that in the least. Cracking effort. So, Craig, to answer your first question, are those patches that you can buy to improve reception any good? Well, we've got one, so let's stick it in the phone. How that's going to work, I've no idea. Fingers crossed, Craig. Oh dear. Slightly disappointing. 3 bars, exactly the same as we had before. So, Craig, in this instance, the stick-on patch hasn't worked. But if you want a low-tech solution, then biscuit tin lids, tin foil and coat hangers seems to do the job just fine.
Which fruit floats? Featuring Professor Mayang Lee and her big basket of fruit. Today she's getting her nice ripe plums out. Will they sink or will they float? We'll give you a few minutes to argue about it and give you the answer after the break. Coming up, you can't stop rock and roll. Do you want to bet? Plus, the Brainiac Guide to what you should do if global warming strikes.
This is Brainiac, the show that other science shows cross over the road to avoid.
Still to come, the Homer Simpson of science, Dr. Bunhead, takes his lab to the local and gets barred. We see if a chainsaw can stop rock and roll. And your chance to vote and win a starring role on Brainiac with our explosive of the week. But first... Before the break, Professor Mayang Lee and her juicy plums asked the question, do they float? The answer, no. Her plums sink.
Take my hand. I'll lead.
Down at the lab, we've been running a very Brainiac experiment.
Very light on your feet for a big man, aren't you? Now let's do some primal screaming. Scream!
We've been trying to up the levels of testosterone in this man and drop it in this one with just a few hours of intensive therapy. The experiment's nearly over and we're finishing off our bruiser with a gentle bedtime story.
And the frog's name was Ribbit. One day he lost all of his family. Ribbit cried and cried and cried.
So that should do it. The question is, have we managed to beef up our weedy man and diminish our bruiser? Who's the daddy now?
Here are the results. Bruiser, your testosterone level has gone down from 964 to 743. Weedy man, your level has gone up from 198 to 349. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Well, it's not much, but we do have a result. Well done all round. Let's just hope we haven't overdone it.
Things that make you go,
Here's one for you. Why is lemon juice made with artificial flavourings and washing up liquid made with real lemons?
Pub Science, the Brainiac alternative to talking to your missus.
If I can turn this piece of metal into ice, you'll give me your phone number. Watch. This is a shape memory metal. There's the I. There's the C. And with a bit more heat, it will go back to the shape memorized in it. And there is ice.
I can't believe this.
Ice, it's brilliant, isn't it? That's a shape memory metal. And every time you heat it up, it goes back to that shape. And you have to give me your phone number now.
I'm not impressed.
Oh, come on. Ow! Ow! Push. Ow!
If I told you once, Gum, practice your science on the monkeys, not my pub.
In 1983, Twisted Sister sang You Can't Stop Rock and Roll. But we here at Brainiac, using the various laws of science, beg to differ. The spinning teeth on the blade of a chainsaw can travel at speeds around 30 meters a second. And of course, they're designed to chop down trees. Can't stop rock and roll? You can with a chainsaw. We're a show that likes to help, and Brainiacs like this one will go to any length to provide a scientific answer to a specific problem. Like, what office product should you grab if whilst working you suddenly become surrounded by water due to a rapid rise in the oceans brought on by global warming? We've already established that a PC monitor, even though it floats, doesn't have enough buoyancy to support a Brainiac. However, a waste paper basket is far from rubbish when used creatively. Turning it upside down traps the air inside, and it floats superbly. The question is, when the alarm sounds, which product will he go for this time? Well, he's gone top shelf. That's an ambitious call, and I don't think we can hold out much hope for this. Although made from trees, it has none of the flotation properties of wood. The cardboard, in fact, is practically dissolving in the water, offering him no buoyancy at all. So there you have it. One obvious product you should steer well clear of if you find yourself in this situation. We did say we like to help.
In this age of rapid scientific discovery, many questions are being asked as to just how far science should go. Should we allow practices like human cloning and stem cell cultivation to be a normal part of our society? Well, here on Brainiac, we're never ones to shy away from such issues. And today, we're carrying out the ultimate in testing. Genetic testing. Yes, we shall be pitting a £4 pair of jeans up against a £150 pair of designer jeans. Each pair shall be rigorously tested, and at the end we'll see if anyone knows the difference. First, we'll test the strength of each pair of jeans by simulating the no-holds-barred shopping techniques of the January sales. Take 2 highly charged, no-nonsense Brainiac shoppers and 1
We step it up a gear.
Stonewash was a big look in the 80s, and so, using our van and these stones, we're going to recreate the fashion, Brainiac style.
Each pair of jeans has been filled with stones and rocks so we can give them a thorough working out. So far, the £4 pair seems to be handling our treatment just as well as the £150 designer pair. But will our punters be able to tell the difference at the end of testing? For the final stonewash touch, we get the van to tread all over them.
Now the jeans have been softened up, it's time to take the edge off.
The sun-blasted look is popular with makers of denim garments, but we're using a belt sander to simulate the years of wear and tear normal jeans succumb to. Time now to move away from man-made treatments and go a bit natural.
This is Ike, and he's very keen to sink his teeth into our experiments.
Ike is trained to bite. It's his job, and he loves it. Being a professional, he shows no bias towards either pair of jeans. And still, the £4 pair are handling the test as well as the designer pair.
Last but not least in our series of tests, the shotgun. No explanation needed. So that's the treatment phase of the experiment over. Now all we have to do is put the jeans to the fashion test.
This is Camden in London, a centre for alternative fashion, and we've set up a Brainiac boutique. Now the jeans on the left are the £150 pair and the ones on the right are the £4 pair. But will our punters be able to tell?
I think the most expensive pair is that one. The material in that blatantly looks cheap.
I think those are the more expensive ones as well because they're less damaged than those ones in a way.
That looks a bit better made than those ones.
That pair is more expensive than that pair.
I believe these ones are the real McCoy, but if I'm wrong, never mind, I will try again.
I think that one's the more expensive just because of the stitching and the cut, really.
I think that's the most expensive pair.
So there we have it, conclusive results from our genetic testing. Most people thought the cheap pair were the designer pair, and the difference in wear and tear is not proportional to the difference in the price you pay. So, next time you're out shopping for jeans, you might want to consider this. £150 minus £4 is £146. Now that's a lot of cans of beer.
We're down at the Big Bang Farm. Our Brainiac babes are at play. They're going to pick an explosive, blow something to smithereens, and then give it marks out of 10. But here's the best bit. You too can rate the explosion and win the chance to join the girls blowing stuff up on the final show of this series. But what explosive will the girls choose this week? The girls have gone for linear cutting charge, a tube of high-powered explosive designed to blow holes in metal, such as stubborn safes and battleships. 3 of their friends will judge the explosion, giving it marks out of 10. And today they're going to blow a hole in a sheet of 4-inch thick tempered steel in the exact shape of the lovely Doris. Let's just hope there's enough charge to go around her ample charms. And here's where you can take part as well. That's right, we're offering you the chance to win a day with the girls blowing stuff up. And all you have to do is vote. Digital satellite viewers press the red button now. Or you can text us on 87654. That's 87654. Just text BANG, leave a space, and your score on the explosion between 1 and 10. That number again, 87654. Linear cutting charge is a favourite of safe blowers the world over. When it explodes, the charge squeezes out of the liner into a narrow jet, travelling at 8,000 metres per second. They've done the work. The judges are ready. Now, let the fun begin. Let's go bang!
3, 2, 1.
The girls seem pleased, but what's the official verdict? A short consultation and they're ready. And look! A massive 11 out of 10 from Beryl. So stunned by that explosion she's lost all sense of mathematics. Mavis, however, is defiantly unimpressed. Perhaps she blinked when it went off. Hilda, as reliable as ever, scores 9 for a bang that surely deserves it. Well, that's what the judges think, but remember, we're waiting for your verdict. The girls can't resist admiring their handiwork. It's a job well done. So it's back for some more playtime.
Digital satellite viewers, press red to vote for your explosion of the week, and you could end up detonating your very own explosion, filmed on location with the Brainiac team. But next here on Sky One...
This is the most common form of marine fraud, even today.
More interesting theories in Conspiracy's Titanic.